This is QTV News. I am Umudu Gajaga and we are coming to you live from our studios along Karaba Avenue. Thank you for joining us. First, here are the main local, international and sports news headlines. The Inspector General of the United Arab Emirates Interior Ministry, Major General Dr. Ahmed Nasser Al-Raishi, Thursday met President Barrow at his office at State House. A serious car accident involving a van and a Sprinter van at the airport Coastal Road Junction on Wednesday evening, the second day of Tobaski, has left many passengers critically injured. In international news from Atlanta, Georgia, we hear how many Gambians celebrated, or how Gambians rather celebrated Tobaski. And two African presidents are the subject of assassination attempts. In Mali, an attempt on the president's life is foiled, and in Madagascar, an alleged assassination plot uncovered. In sports news, one day before the official opening ceremony of the delayed Olympic Games, there is a threat the Games could be cancelled. Well, meanwhile, the women's and the men's football events have kicked off. Those were the main news headlines, and now the news in detail. Welcome, and if you're just joining us, this is QTV News. The Inspector General of the United Arab Emirates Interior Ministry, Major State visit, also earlier on Thursday paid a courtesy call on the Interior Ministry and Foreign Affairs Ministries, and the Inspector General of Police Office as well. Anzwane Sonyasi reports.
Major General Dr. Al-Raishi, an expert in policing technology, forensics, management and international anti-crime coordination, is in the country to strengthen bilateral ties between Banjul and the UAE and to formally share with Gambian authorities his intention to run for Interpol presidency in the upcoming Interpol elections slated for November this year. He began his visit with brief stops at the Interior and Foreign Affairs Ministries at Kotu and Banjul respectively, where he held closed-door talks with ministers Yankuba Sonko and Dr. Mamadou Tangara respectively. His delegation was then led by the Interior Minister to the police headquarters, where he was received by the Deputy Inspector General Ibrahim Abah and a traditional quarter guard usually accorded to high-profile dignitaries and senior officers by personnel of the Police Intervention Unit. He also held a brief closed-door meeting with IGP Abdoulaye Sanyang, where they discussed matters of mutual interest on security and his bid for the Interpol top job. General Raishi was then bestowed emblems of the Gambia Police Force by the IGP. In a show of appreciation, General Raishi also presented an insignia of the UAE Interior Ministry bearing famous UAE monuments to IGP Sanyang, while the rest of his delegation held talks with the Deputy IGP and other senior police officers. From the police headquarters, he then paid a courtesy call on President Barrow at his office at State House, where he conveyed similar messages. Speaking to the press following his meeting with President Barrow, General Raishi said he is in the country to explore possible areas of cooperation on security and other key sectors and to strengthen the already existing diplomatic ties between Banjul and the UAE.
We continue the cooperation since the United Arab Emirates and Gambia have a strong, tight relationship, and we want to make it also strong in the security field, and we will continue with this cooperation for the best of our two countries.
Furthermore, he says he appreciates Gambia's support for his Interpol presidency bid and went on to pray for the country's success at the ongoing Tokyo Olympics, adding that he is overwhelmed with the reception accorded to his delegation.
He's always the good relation we have, the tight and strong relation between the United Arab Emirates and Gambia is always will continue strong and will be always for the best of the two countries.
Major General Dr. Nasser Al-Rashid has been an executive committee member of Interpol since 2018. He held several senior positions in the Abu Dhabi Police Forces before becoming Director of the General Administration at Abu Dhabi Police Headquarters. He is a graduate of Ottenburn College, Westerville, Ohio, United States, and holds a diploma in police administration from the University of Cambridge, UK, an MBA in innovative management from Coventry University, UK, and a doctorate in policing, security and community safety from London Metropolitan University. His delegation included Suleiman Rashian Wan, advisor and partner for Africa, Hamad Hatir, head of international cooperation of Ministry of Interior, Amal Al-Khoury, head of Asian and African Affairs of the Ministry of Interior, and Ali Al-Amari, strategic department at UAE Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Ansmani Sonyasi for KTV News.
Now, a serious car accident involving a van and a Sprinter van at the airport Coastal Road Junction on Wednesday evening, the second day of Tobaski, has left many passengers critically injured. More in this report.
According to an eyewitness, the white Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van was coming from Coastal Road, Turntable area and heading to Brikama. Arriving at the junction at a high speed, the eyewitness added, the driver applied the brakes but lost control of the van. It then hit a black van and the cab in the middle of a dual carriageway and somersaulted before lying on its side. Passers-by, commuters and other drivers rushed and pulled out the injured passengers. This junction is an important strategic location and has been manned by the police, though we are not sure if there was a police presence at the time of the incident. The injured are now being treated at various hospitals and the police are investigating the cause of the accident. Road accidents are very common in the Gambia and many families have lost loved ones. Hardly a day passes without news of another sad story along our roads. It is time we treat it as a national issue. The Gambia's lax road law enforcement is seeing the country rise close to the top of a global league table it should not be in. Many cars on our roads are not fit to be on the roads, but it seems we don't care enough to do anything about it. Unless drastic actions are taken, road traffic accidents are likely to increase and lives will continue to be lost and be at risk. The Gambia was ranked 4th in the world in the latest 2019 Road Traffic Index by the World Health Organization. 2 years before that, the Gambia was ranked 8th in the world in the same index. At this rate, the Gambia will soon top the world as number 1 in road traffic accidents. Babakar Sise, QTV News.
Well, a sad one there. We should all make it a concern to make our roads very safe. We will now go for a short commercial break, and when we return, we have some more local, international and sports news stories for you. Do stay tuned.
Such exceptional prices, impossible to miss the Butty Days. Butty Days is the unmissable appointment of Butty Mart. From the 17th to the 31st of July, take advantage of exceptional discounts up to 50% off on several product family. The best quality, price ratio for the best construction is at Butty Mart. So don't wait anymore. Let's hit the road for the Butty Days. Butty Mart, everything for construction, from foundation to finishing.
Welcome back from that short commercial break, and if you're just joining us, this is QTV News. Coming up next, we have international news. As Gambians at home celebrated Tobaski, Gambians in America welcomed the opportunity to celebrate again with friends after last year's COVID-19 restrictions. Our Cisse in Atlanta tells us more.
I am live out here at Masjid As-Salam here in Campbellton, Atlanta, Georgia. Eid Mubarak, everyone. As you all know, today is Eid al-Adha, a religious holiday where millions of Muslims gather around the world and pray in congregation.
Eid al-Adha is a religious holiday celebrated in the 12th month of the Islamic lunar calendar.
May Allah help us to witness it next year. May Allah heal the sick, bless them abundantly and give them long life.
Most Muslims around the world performed their Eid prayer in 2020 at home to apply safety measures. Due to coronavirus restrictions last year, community members had to pray at home.
Very excited because if you think about it, it's been like more than a year that you haven't seen so many people.
Many people out here are fortunate to be here to pray together, for we did not have that opportunity last year.
We are praying to Allah for all mankind so that COVID-19 will go. We are happy because we came together and saw people we miss. We prayed together and prayed for each other.
I asked a few people about their favorite thing on Eid Day, and they are thrilled about the festivities of the holiday.
My name is Aminata Tunkara, and my favorite thing about Eid is getting your henna done, partying, eating lamb and all that.
My name is Fatima, and my favorite thing about Eid is the fact that all Muslims are getting together to celebrate one thing at the same day.
My name is Aminata Tunkara, and my favorite thing about Eid is the family, friends, and the food.
My name is Drame. So excited for today. I'm inviting my friends over to my house. We're doing some barbecue, some lamb chop.
وصامت شهرها and she fasted for a month in the month of Ramadan. وحفظت فرجها and she protected and safeguarded her private parts by staying away from.
Millions of Muslims worldwide gather with family on this day to celebrate, give gifts, charity, and commemorate the courageous act of Prophet Ibrahim.
Reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, I am Hawa Sise.
Well, beautiful pictures coming there from Atlanta, Georgia, but they call it Atlanta, Georgia. Well, let's still move on and talk about international stories. 2 African presidents are reported to have survived alleged assassination attempts this week. The 2 are President André Rajoelina of Madagascar and Malian interim President Colonel Assimi Goïta. More in this report by Omar Pijalo.
Several people have been arrested over allegedly assassination plot against President André Rajoelina of Madagascar. Madagascar's public security minister on Wednesday said 6 people have been arrested following Madagascar's authority claim to have foiled a conspiracy against President André Rajoelina. The suspect arrested on Tuesday, July 28th, include 1 foreign national, 2 dual nationals, and 3 Madagascans. Authorities claim those arrested devised a plan to eliminate and neutralize a number of people, including the president. According to the authorities, investigations are underway, but disclose no further about the extent of the assassination plot and how advanced it was. On 26 June, during the country's Independence Day celebration, Madagascar's Gendarmerie announced that they had foiled an assassination attempt on their boss, General Richard Ravalomanana, considered to be the president's right-hand man. Rajoelina was sworn in as president in 2019 after a hard-fought election and a constitutional court challenge from his rival. In a similar turn of events, 2 people tried to stab the president of the transition in Mali, Colonel Assimi Goïta, on Tuesday morning during the Muslim feast of Eid al-Adha prayers at the Bamako Grand Mosque. The 2 assailants, one of whom had a knife, attempted to attack Goïta after prayers. This followed months of political disorder in Mali, which is also battling a military insurgency that has claimed thousands of lives and driven hundreds of thousands from their homes. At the scene, the country's Minister of Religious Affairs told reporters that it was immediately after the prayer and the sermon of the Imam that the young men tried to stab and kill the president with a knife from behind, but it was another person who got injured. Goïta was sworn into office in June this year as interim president after leading the country's second coup in less than a year. First in August last year, when he ousted elected President Ibrahim Abubakar Keita after weeks of mass protests over corruption and the long-running jihadist conflict, and handed power to a civilian-led transition government. But in late May 2021, Goïta, who was the vice president under the transitional government, ousted the president Bandao, saying Ba had wanted to sabotage the handover. In June this year, with Goïta as the interim president, a new government was unveiled, with military figures in key roles. Facing the anger of the African Union and the West African Regional Bloc ECOWAS, Colonel Goïta and the new government, appointed by the junta, have given an assurance they will keep their commitment to hand over power to civilians after elections scheduled for February 27, 2022. Mali, a poor state of around 20 million people, has known little stability or democracy since it gained independence from France in 1960. The assassination bit is the latest episode in the country's long history of turbulence. The latest bloody war erupted in the north of Mali in 2012 and has since spread to Burkina Faso and Niger. Thousands of soldiers and civilians have been killed and hundreds of thousands have fled their homes. Reporting for QTV News, I am Omar P. Jallo.
From that report by Omar P. Jallo, coming up next is sports news. Even as the first sports in the delayed Olympic Games get underway, there is controversy surrounding the Games. Toshihiro Muto, the chief of the Tokyo 2020 organizing committee, says he does not rule out cancelling the Olympics if COVID-19 cases spike. Adedarame has more.
Toshihiro Muto made the comment as more athletes tested positive for the virus and sponsors ditched plans to attend Friday's opening ceremony. There was a swift response for the Olympics governing body, who stated there was no chance of a cancellation. For many people, the Olympics Games means athletics, but of course there are many other sports featured. One of those sports, the women's football tournament, kicked off with a bang. World champions USA, with a team packed with all their stars, lost 3-0 to Sweden in their opening match. Captain Megan Rapinoe said after the game, "We were bopped and we did some dumb stuff." The USA's loss was even more shocking as the team had been on a 44-game unbeaten run. Africa's first appearance in this final was not a good one, as Zambia were trounced 10-3 by the Netherlands. There was a crumb of comfort for Zambia as their forward, Barbara Banda, grabbed a hat-trick in the match. In other notable matches, two of the strongest teams in women's football faced off, and Brazil thrashed China 5-0. Brazil's star Marta scored twice, becoming the first player to score in 5 consecutive Olympics, taking her total tally to 12. Her teammate, 43-year-old defender Formiga, extended her record of competing in all 7 women's Olympic tournaments since women's football was introduced in 1996. In another match, Team GB won 2-0 against a poor Chile side and should have won by much more, while Australia beat neighbours New Zealand 2-1 in the last game of the day. The opening ceremony is 2 days away, and it remains to be seen whether there will be an 11th hour cancellation. For those waiting for athletics, that gets going on the 30th of July. For QTV News, I am Ade Darami.
Now, before we close, here is a recap of our main news headlines. The Inspector General of the United Arab Emirates Interior Ministry, Major General Dr. Ahmed Nasser Al-Raishi, Thursday met President Barrow at his office at State House. A serious car accident involving a van and a Sprinter van at Airport Coastal Road Johnson on Wednesday evening, the second day of Tobaski, has left many passengers critically injured. In international news from Atlanta, Georgia, we heard how Gambians celebrated Tobaski. And still in international news, 2 African presidents are the subject of assassination attempts. In Mali, an attempt on the president's life was foiled, and in Madagascar, an alleged assassination plot is uncovered. In sports news, 1 day before the official opening ceremony of the delayed Olympic Games, there is a threat the Games could be cancelled. But meanwhile, the women's football and also as the men's football kicked off earlier. That's all we have for you in this bulletin of the news. Thank you very much for watching, but stay tuned. We are coming again at 10 p.m.